thing is with that muscle connection, that muscle contraction. And we're gonna be feeling that connection as we push down, right? We're thinking of squeezing the feet, because the base of our strength will always come from our extremities, our hands and our feet. So building on that, you want to squeeze the feet like if you were grabbing a towel or something, right? So you want to raise the arch, feel that fatigue in the bottom of the foot, and the hands, bring them forward and then bring them inward. You're going to feel that contraction on the inner side of the forearm. It's like holding this sphere right here. Right? You feel that power here. As you feel that power in the feet, as you feel that power in the glutes and the hips as you push down. All that, bring the chest to the sky, contracting that back. You could bring the two smaller fingers down, leaving the two up. And think of squeezing all the muscles within the hand. Bring them in as you're scraping your elbows on your sides and your rib cage. Feeling that connection of the back, lifting the head back, feeling that cervical or erector spinae. Bring the fingers up. Feel that connection with the back of the hand and the back of the forearms. Maintain that posture, the feet, constant energy pushing down into the earth, grounding yourself. You're going to be slowly pushing your energy out with full intention, very slow. Your intention should be to push the walls around you. And then you can bring the fingers inward and up. You can open the hand, hold on to two spheres, squeeze the spheres, but don't close the hand. Allowing the chi to flow, the breath, and the muscle connection. Muscle contraction brings the blood flow, and the connection between the breath and the blood is the chi. Bring that chi in. Right into the heart chakra, heart center. Now think of pushing forward, and as you do so, bring the tips of the fingers as far back towards your face as you can, feeling that connection again with the back of the forearms and the back of the hands. You can bring the arms, the hands down, and again feel now the bottom portion of the forearm. You can think of squeezing that sphere until we close our fist, feeling that stronger connection with the muscles of the forearm and the muscles of the hand. You can squeeze as hard as you can. And open. This serves both as a stretch and a contraction as you're going through the full range of motion of your wrist up and down. to get off your chair. Pushing outward, twisting that. And now we could think of twisting the wrist and the hand to their maximal capacity. Think of twisting like a drill. And feel the resistance at each end of your range of motion. That resistance will be future strength for your wrists in these positions. Think of ever twisting your wrist or bending it weird and having a sprain. That sprain is the fascia being damaged or being hurt, and then condensing in that area. That's what a lot of chronic pain, a lot of aches and pains that we get through life, they come from weakness. They come from lack of stability. So we want to build that strength. You want to feel the muscles required for these movements. You see how I'm trembling slightly because I'm forcing that movement, finding the end range of motion, and I'm pushing beyond that. And don't worry about hurting yourself, because this is a natural movement of the body. And all we're doing is training the muscles in those end ranges of motion, so that if our arms twist in these positions, they will not become hurt. They will not be damaged. They will be strong and stable. That's what you want all throughout the body. So you can think of holding them up, squeezing those spheres, right? You want to feel that power as the intent of closing the hand, but not actually closing. Bring that energy in again. See, the trembling is the energy that I'm bringing into that area. So push forward. Now I'm going to think of rounding the back. So I'm going to show a side view, what that looks like. So I'm keeping my torso still. I'm not leaning forward yet, but I'm rounding. I'm rounding the upper back, making a hollow right here, a hollow in the stomach. You can even bring your belly button to your spine, so sucking that in. It's called the vacuum. Reaching forward, rounding with the back, reaching forward as far as possible, but pushing with the feet in front of you, pushing against you, so you kind of have this intention as you're reaching forward. And sit with that resistance. You want to control that resistance. Through that fatigue, strength will be built. Now you can think of leaning forward. Now you can think of still maintain the constant pressure with your feet pushing downward, so you're grounded. Now you're going to slowly reach forward more and more. To your limit, to as much as you can go. And you want to maintain the strength but maintain the push with the feet with downward intent. You want to push down into the ground. And if you think of doing that at all times while sitting, you will build strength in the legs, all throughout the legs. So always maintain yourself grounded as you push down. It's easier to do this while sitting than it is while standing, but you can do this anytime. And it's sort of like that concept of, have you felt gravity? Are you feeling that gravity? And right now we're feeling that gravity because we're contracting the muscles as we're pushing down. So we have this intent to rise, right? And we feel that trembling maybe in the hamstrings and the quads and the hips, right? It's because we're trying to push down and we're feeling that resistance of gravity. Let's think of moving the toes a little bit. So we're going to think of going for a thumbs up while the other toes are being pushed down. So we're thinking of contracting the lower toes and bringing that big toe up. We want to build dexterity in the toes so we can build strength in the toes, in our extremities, right? We think about strengthening our hands, strengthening our fingers. We never think about strengthening our feet and our toes, right? We want to build strength in them as well. Your feet are your base, so building a strong base will keep you balanced, preventing falls or slipping. And you also want the concept of the tripod foot, which would be of the pinky, the big toe, and the heel. So you eventually want to widen that space between the smaller toe and the bigger toe, as well as building the strength of the foot. So we're going to think of bringing the feet, the toes towards our shins. We're going to move closer to the edge of the chair for this one, and then we're going to bring our heels as close to our glutes as possible. So finding that connection between the hamstrings and the glutes as we sit here and we're clamping down on our chair. We think of clamping down like this with the thigh and the tibialis. So we're feeling that connection with the front, these muscles right here, as we bring the toes towards the knee. And as we're bringing the heels towards the glutes, we're finding that connection with the hamstrings and the calves as well. So you think of holding onto your knees and slightly pushing down. And this will help you straighten the back as you contract these muscles in the lower body. All throughout the back, the lower back, and the upper back as you try to maintain your chest to the sky. Training the dragon is training the erector spinae, the muscles around the spine. Forward. We're going to be now straightening the leg, contracting intensely the quads. As we push our feet forward, our toes, we feel that connection with our calves and as well as the sole of the foot, so you don't want to squeeze your toes like our fists would, right? So feeling the connection of the entire lower body is that dragon tail being unified, right? All the muscles working in unison, being active, building strength. sides. If you're standing, you can do it one side and then the other side. You might even get more of a range of motion if you do one side only. And you're going to feel the connection between the different muscles required to get to those end ranges of motion. Always slow, knowing full intention to go to the end range of motion of what your body is currently at, and feeling that resistance, pushing slightly beyond, maintaining that connection, and moving towards the opposite side. When you move towards this other direction, this back foot can even serve as a stability by pushing down. You always want to think about pushing down, right? So if you push down with that back foot, you're going to feel that connection with the glutes and hamstrings. As with this side, you're going to be pushing your knee outward, so you're going to be focusing on the connection of the medial glutes, right? So we're working on all ranges of motion of the glutes right here. This is what you're supposed to be feeling when you're working on squats or lunges. This connection of yourself being grounded with your feet pushing down. When we have external weight, right, the external stimuli will help us activate those muscles, but at the detriment of our joints if our muscles are not strong enough or stable enough to do our own body weight, let alone external body weight. So you want to master the body's movements, the body's contractions with your own body weight, with your own natural movements. And then you can move on to building more strength with external weight. We rarely move the hips as often as we should. So we build cobwebs in there, and there's a lot of squeaks and cranks that happen. So we must bring blood flow into those areas by bringing movement, bringing muscle connection. You could even use your hands on your knees to guide you a little further. So you can think of, as you come out here, just push yourself a little further. Push yourself a little further in. Not too hard, just gentle. Just a nice guide. Alright, so that's really allowing the hips to move, and you'll see how that connects to the upper body, because we get a lot of times, pain in the back, maybe pain within the discs with discs pushing against each other, and that's all due to gravity, right? And so we want to build a strength in our back, and specifically in the erector spinae, to alleviate that. And we want to start at the hips, right? Because it's the root of the root chakra, right? Located at the root of the base of the spine. That's the lower section, and that's by the hips, right? And so that's what we want to start when we want to build more health, build the dragon. So we want to think of bringing our hands up, and we're going to keep our elbows close to our rib cage, close together, and we're going to keep our chest to the sky, right? Maintain a strong glute contraction, a strong abdomen contraction. Bring the belly button to the spine, the feet down, right? Push down, and then you're gonna come externally rotating, keeping the elbows close, and then coming out as far as your body allows, feeling that external rotation in the rear delt and the back. You want to sit there, you want to build strength and stability in those postural muscles. You could think of leaning to one side, feeling that connection with the oblique. Not too much because you want to maintain a solid trunk. You only want to feel the resistance. And you're going to feel that in the sides, maybe by the hips. And you'll see how everything connects, because everything should be connected, and you should have mind-muscle connection all throughout the body. Sometimes our fascia prevents that from happening. These energy centers that we have within the body, that we need to release the tension, release the fascia through self-massage or other types of massage, or even through movement and muscle connection, right? Inviting the cramps. We want to invite fatigue, invite cramps, because that's our body telling us that this is a challenge, and challenges create growth, right? So we're going to come, and then we're going to bring our hands here and raise the roof. Hallelujah, right? Bring the muscle connection up the chain into the upper back. As we come back, and you want to reach the sky. Have your hands as high as you can. Feel that connection all through the back, all through the lower back. And now you're flying like Superman. You want to really stretch, point the toes, point the fingers to the sky, while maintaining the feet grounded, push down into the ground. And now we're going to think of holding onto a bar and then pulling down. You can feel the connection of the lats as you bring your fists inward and you're pulling down. You should feel that connection all throughout the back. Okay. Now let's go for some movements of the neck. And as we move the neck, we always maintain the core strong and stable, right? So we're going to lean to one side at an angle. And we're going to allow the head to tilt. We're going to feel the stretch all throughout the traps and the neck. You might feel it in the erector spinae as it's all connected. And you feel that power, you feel that connection all throughout the trunk. You should feel the stretch in the erector spinae. Let's come back as well. And as you're back here, be aware of the muscle connections of the back, right? As you're back here with your head tilted back, you want to feel those strong connections of the back, the upper back, the erector spinae, the traps. Right, the neck is passive, the neck is relaxed. It's the core, it's the abdomen and the back and the obliques. They're the ones that are active and tight, maintaining your trunk to be stable. So now let's go for a slight stretch. We're going to go into an angle. If you hold the back of our head and you see where our elbow is pointing, that's where we'll be tugging slightly. You feel that stretch in the traps on the opposite side. And then from this position, you can think of coming back to center using those muscles that you just stretched. So whenever we stretch, we always want to build strength and bring some stability to that mobility as well. So come down. Just feel that stretch. You should feel that stretch also in the erector spinae. As you keep, again, the trunk tight and strong. Slightly tugging. And then bringing it back to center using the neck muscles and the traps as you keep your hand on your head. And now let's come down. And again, this time we're going to think of now widening our stance, pushing down again. Focus on that push downward as we lean forward. We're going to slightly just hold our head as we guide our head, rounding the back. And I'll show you this side view right here. We're going to really round the back because you want to feel the stretch all throughout the spine. It's the muscles that we have just been training. Now we want to stretch them. But over here in the abdomen, it's like a sitting crunch. You want to feel that connection with the abdomen as you're rounding. And then come back up with the strength again of the erector spinae. So feel the mid-back muscles, the upper back muscles. You feel the strength building. Do you feel that resistance? Stretching those muscles. And then contracting those muscles all while pushing down the legs. Feel the resistance of the back. Always maintain yourself grounded. A lot of this would have some people dizzy, maybe a little bit, maybe lightheaded, and that's because they cut blood flow from the head. So if you're holding your breath, you're not allowing the blood to go, you're not allowing the oxygen to flow, so you might get a little lightheaded maybe, but you want to maintain always strong abdomen and yourself grounded, right? So now let's go for another contraction as we're reaching forward. So again, unifying that dragon tail, connecting through the muscles of the quads, the calves, the feet, and the ankles. Let's bring the hands together, pushing against each other again. Slowly bringing them up. One thing we don't really want to think about doing is raising the shoulders. We want to keep the lats engaged. We want to keep the scapula strong, the chest up as we come up. That will allow us to, when we come to our full range of motion, raising our shoulders, it will allow us that better range of motion of the shoulders. If our shoulders are crunched up, then we're not going to have that range of motion. So you see the difference here bring the toes towards the knee, feeling that connection right here and in the back of the foot. We're going to find that connection